Welcome back to the channel, and look who I'm joined by today, Ryan Chaos Curtis, who is finally back in action. He's got a fight booked against Tom Creasy on Sunday, on February 20th at ECMMA 8. Ryan, how are you doing today, bud?
Great, mate. I'm after having a great day of training with all the boys, and yeah, just relaxing here doing this interview.
I gotta say, look at it, you brought the heat. Like I normally see you in the mink coats or something. I think you might be the most stylish man in Irish MMA. So you're rocking the kimono today, I see.
Yeah, nice kimono. Just something to help me unwind. You know, I'm only out of bat, so keep the skin fresh.
100%. Look, Brian, it's your first fight in 2 years. It must be a massive relief, and you must be very excited to get back to action.
Yeah, I can't wait, mate. Honestly, like I was saying to there a few minutes ago, it was like I think I had like 7 or 8 fights pulled on me last year. You know, obviously people see the ones that's on the internet and they get pulled, but other ones that have been great behind the scenes and then they got pulled as well. A lot of it obviously got to do with COVID. You know, everybody's in the same boat and it's a bit of a nightmare, but yeah, here we are. It is what it is. So yeah, like I just constantly in the gym all the time anyway, constantly improving. So because I knew the time was gonna come anyway, you know. I was saying some other people they were switching off a little bit, but I was constantly in the gym, putting in the hours, you know. The hours don't lie, so here we are.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you like about, you know, why we haven't seen you in 2 years. You know, there's obviously a lot of fights falling through. I was chatting to your management, One Hit Management, and they were saying it's been a nightmare. Has it been all like, has there been any injuries or I guess why have so many fights been falling through?
Honestly, I've no idea, and you know, it's easy to sit here and say, you know, yeah, it was like it was everybody else, but genuine it was. And actually, one fight was me. I was supposed to fight over in America, and I was literally just so close to Christmas and getting over it. It was literally just so much of a hassle, and it was like the 17th of December and stuff. And honestly, it was just too much, you know, too close to Christmas. It was my little one's first Christmas and all, and you know, that was the one time out of like the 7 or 8 of them that was my fault, you know. Or all the rest of them was like just COVID and people pulling out and getting injured and whatever else. So
it must have been very frustrating, was it?
Very frustrating, you know, because like I'm saying, I'm constantly in the gym, constantly improving, you know. That is a good thing about me as well, but sometimes it's like mentally draining as well to be, you know, because you know yourself, when you have a fight, it's like a different level of training, you know. So there was a time where I was like, I'd usually do 3 a day, and there was a time where like after all them fights was falling through, I was just like, look, I'm only gonna do 1 or max 2 a day just to be not mentally drained, you know. So yeah, it's just even on the body, like it's tough on the body, but more on the head, you know.
Would you be someone who like approaches fights in a camp mentality, or would you be someone who kind of, you know, just trains the same way throughout rather than focusing on a specific camp style approach?
No, not really. Like, you know, it's camps, like what, like, you know what I mean? What's this the scouts or something? You know what I mean? It's like you're an athlete. You know, you should be. You know, you should be in shape all year round. You know, your health. You know, you should always be in shape. Like, look, everybody likes to unwind at Christmas and everything else, but you know, even at Christmas, I still always train. You know, I might eat a little bit more food at Christmas, so not really much of a drink, or if I go out 1 or 2 nights, it'd be probably over Christmas, you know. Even after my fights, I'd very rarely drink. It's more just I'd be probably even just going out to just catch up with people who I haven't seen in the year, you know. So no, that's all bollocks. Like, you know, you should be in shape and ready to go at any time of the year, you know, and I always am. So
yeah, and so the reason I asked that was because I imagine, you know, with so many fights being pulled and then you're preparing for another one, it's got to be hard to keep the motivation levels up when you're constantly, okay, I've got a fight coming up. Oh wait, no, I don't. And then that seems like it's been the case for about 2 years for you now.
yeah, it's just more so. more so mentally, I feel like we are talking about, it's you know, because it's like it is a little flip of a switch in the head, you know, and even in preparation, because the rounds are harder, the rounds are longer, you know, it's more intense. Um, but yeah, I'm always switched on and ready to go anyway, you know. Most times I like a bit of notice, of course. Like it's nice because, like I say, there is a different kind of intensity when you're fighting, you know.
100%. And you mentioned your little one there. I know it's she's what, almost 2 now, is she, maybe?
No. She'll be 1 this month, you know, the
Almost
26th
1.
of this month. So
Well,
yeah, it
congratulations
went
on
by in the blink of an eye.
becoming a dad. So, like, I know you obviously have a young family now, and I know you're a barber, a pro barber as well as a pro fighter.
Yeah.
So, like,
Wrecking faces are making them look good at the same time as well.
yeah, the 2-for-1 combo.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, what's life been like outside the cage then the last 2 years?
Great, like, you know, just like kind of little bit of a change, you know, with a bit of a change with the baby and that, you know, because it's a mad old, you know, it's a mad old feeling, but yeah, it's brilliant. Like, honestly, it's the best thing that ever happened. Yeah, it's a cliche thing that people say, like, oh, why don't you say and stuff, but it really is the best thing that ever happens to you in life, you know. It's like when you have kids, you think stuff that's important, and then you're like, nah, that's all just shit when you have kids, you know.
Yeah, and like, another thing that a lot of fighters will say is, you know, once they have a kid, there's a switch that kind of flips, and all of a sudden there's this extra motivation. Did you feel any different with your approach to fighting since becoming a father?
Not really, to be honest. Like, you know, definitely does, like, you know, even in the, you know, but doing some mad, like, you know, like, I don't know, cardio session or whatever, and it's getting heavy, or you're in the last round of a heavy session, like, you know, it's a weird, like, me little one, or me girlfriend always pops into my head, you know, and I always think about them. And when times get hard, you know, it's a mad little switch like that, you know, because I know that's something that, like, you know, in your head, it kind of keeps you going a little bit almost. But for the most part, I don't really need anybody to do anything for me, or, you know, to keep me switched on. I've kind of always been like that, self-motivated, you know, and I think I can, yeah, that's actually one thing that's good about me, that I don't need anybody, like, you know, I don't need anybody, any of my coaches ringing me and saying, "Hey, where are you?" You know what I mean? You have this fight coming up, or else you could potentially have a fight coming up. You need to be in the gym. You need to be doing this. I put that pressure on myself, you know. If anything, they need to tell me to go home, because it's been a couple of times, like, where, you know, you can, you know, yes, it's heavy on the body and the brain, and they'd be like, "Yeah, you need a bit of a rest." So if I ain't, it'd be the opposite. Like, I have to get told to go home, you know. So.
And we finally have a fight now. So you have a date, you have an opponent. Fingers crossed, touch wood. Hopefully we don't jinx it. But you know, you were supposed to originally fight Tom Creasy. I think it was Clan Wars 41 last August. You were originally scheduled
That's
to
right.
fight.
I think
What happened
he
there?
got COVID or something.
Okay. So then how did this
Right.
one come about? Was this a name that you wanted to fight again, or how did this fight come about?
No, it was just like, you know, my name was obviously out there, his name was obviously out there, and we were supposed to fight before, and then obviously the promoter was like, just seemed like it just made sense to do it, you know.
And do you know much? Have you watched much of his fights, or do you know much about him?
No, not really. Like, to be honest, obviously come from a good stable and that, so you would expect that he'd be good, you know. His brother was the former Cage Warriors champion, and he's good as well. So, you know, no, he's not. No, did he not he got beaten there the last one? No,
Shanks missed weight.
Oh shit, yeah, but he's not. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, all right. The other fella, the donkey, like, probably played eating too much or something, but if you get beat, yeah, not the champion anymore. And then wasn't there a bit of controversy as well the last time when I'm getting armbarred, and he tapped, like, I did see the video and it did look like he tapped. I don't know. It looked like that from the video, you know, but who knows with the angles and whatever else. But yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
It's probably just the angle.
And so obviously focusing back to Tom, away from Sam to Tom, the younger brother. You know, how do you see yourself matching up with him stylistically?
Honestly, like I just feel like just for most part, like, you know, it's not none of them are really technically as good as me anyway. You know, I don't care who they are or what they're doing. And then, you know, people who are always really technically good, you kind of have to, you know, because I've seen people who's really technically good and then they got a smack, and then it's like that technique turns to shite because, you know, they can't take a smack. But I've been in wars before, and that's always in the back pocket if I need it. But I'm not somebody who goes, you know, see people down my head in that be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go out and put a war on for the fans like idiots. Yeah, like, you know, you're gonna be retired one day, probably dribbling in front of your kids, all for people you don't even know. You know what I mean? The fans don't give a shit about you in this sport. Like, you're only as good as you're only good when you're winning. You know what I mean? And then when you're not winning, you fade into the back. So I don't do it for anybody. I do it for myself and my family and the close people who's around me. So yeah, I've been in wars before, so I know I can do it. I don't need to prove to myself like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go out and have a war. I go out for clean executions all the time, and that's it.
And that's an interesting point you brought up there. Like, do you feel with your kind of your time away from competition, obviously you're training all the time, but did you notice that maybe people kind of forgot about you to an extent?
Yeah, like it's a little bit, yeah, like, you know, but it is what it is. When you're not in the mix, you don't, like, that happens at the highest level in the UFC and even stuff like that. You know, when people are not in the mix, you don't hear their name getting passed about as much. But you know, that's just the way it is. You know, and you have to accept that as well. You know, that's the fans. It's like you're only in them out when you're winning and doing good stuff, like, you know. So to be honest, I don't really give a shit about the fans. I'm just doing it for me and to pay for, like, you know, to get paid and for to be the best in the world, you know, make a better life for my family. I don't give a shit what Lady Jimmy down the road is saying or whatever. I wouldn't go to his gaff and ask for advice if something's going wrong in my life. So why do I care what he's going to say on the internet, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. And look, the last time we saw you fight was obviously the loss to Amir Albazi. How do you reflect on that loss kind of 2 years on?
Yeah, like, obviously, look, he's in the UFC now. He's doing good. Yeah, to be honest, like, you know, I was like, I just went in and I just got cold. He got the takedown, and it was just unfortunate. He nearly already had to come out from the takedown. You know, he was like, you know, I knew what I was getting myself in for when I was going into the fight. You know, I was seeing him like grappling with Paulo Miao or something about 10 years ago. You know, so it was like, you know, he's high level. You know, I knew what I was getting myself in for. I just feel like I just didn't get off. You know, I feel like I had a good training camp, no excuses, nothing like that. You know, it was just went in and wasn't switched. Like, I was switched on, but just he got the takedown early. And like I said, I didn't even get time to walk because it was like he was already in on the Kamara before I even hit the ground, which was good on his part, you know, but I just didn't go off.
Does it almost feel like less of a loss? Like, obviously it's a completely legitimate win. It was a submission, but because, you know, it was kind of really just feeling each other out on the feet, and then he had a nice level change, got the takedown, I got the submission. Does it almost feel like less of a loss than say like a war where it was very it's I don't know, I feel like I'm contradicting myself because a submission is decisive, but you know what I mean, like there wasn't a lot of damage, shall we say.
Yeah, not really, because like it's like me going in and sparking somebody in 15 seconds, and then people saying that win is not legit. You know, it's like if you go in and get the job done, you're at the getting the job done, no matter what way. You know, so yeah, it doesn't. I just unfortunate because I got cold, and the fans got robbed a little bit because it would have been a good fight, but you know. if my auntie had balls, she'd be my uncle. So here we are.
Absolutely. And come here. I wanna ask. I posted up the image of yourself and Tom when we broke the fight news, and Jake Hadley popped up in the comment section, and the two of you were kind of going at it a little bit. What's the story there? What's the beef with Jake Hadley?
I don't know. He's a mad fan. He is, to be honest. Like I don't like he's in the UFC and he just keeps on commenting on stuff about me. To be honest, he's mad. Like he looks like a little dry, shriveled up Mickey or something. You know what I mean? And he's blatant little talking about he's a gorilla and all. He's a mad simpleton of a young. Like he just keeps on. I don't know why he keeps on commenting on all the stuff. Like, you know, it's like he's a mad fan or something. But yeah, I'll tell you what. I think he thinks that that I'm some little posh uncle or something. You know, I'm from day one. If I ever see him, I'm gonna open his head up with 2 elbows because I think he thinks that, like, you know, yeah, look at it, this foul, like, you know. But honestly, he'll say if I ever see him because he's always commenting on stuff and all, but he's an idiot. Everything, like, I remember saying in an interview I'm talking about, like, when Corona was only out, that the doctor should go to him and to solve Corona or something. Simpleton, like, you know, he's like, honestly, he's about 10 and he's baldy, like, you know. I don't know what's up with the fella. Now, it sounds like he's been in wars all his life. You know what I mean? He's mad slurred speech and all. So, yeah, I don't know what's his game, to be honest.
Has this been just come out of nowhere, like, or has this been going on a while?
Nah, he's always been throwing little remarks, you know. I don't know. It's like he has a mad obsession with me, like, and you know, every time something breaks, it's like on the internet, it's like he has to comment. I don't know what the story with him is, like, you know. I told him that I'd wear the pair of me jocks and I'd send them over if he gave me his address and he could sniff them, you know. That's what it seems like he wants to do anyway.
And look, you've always been quite outspoken about the flyweights. I was watching back the post-fight press conference from your win in Bellator, and you were kind of critical. It was around the time when the UFC were almost winding down the flyweight division, and you were saying, like, it's kind of boring out there. There's no one that's really exciting. You know, we're a few years on from that, and it seems like flyweight's booming now. Like, you've got massive fights between Davison Figueiredo, Brandon Moreno, the likes of the aforementioned Jake Hadley, Muhammad Mokaev getting signed to the UFC. How do you see the flyweight division worldwide at the moment?
Yeah, it's good. Look, there's good people there. You know, it's the division is looking good. There's looks like a bit of life, but still nobody really. I don't feel like there's any needle movers, do you know what I mean? And I feel like I could be a big needle mover if I got in there because I speak well and I can fight good, you know?
Absolutely.
Like, I feel like when I hear someone talk, they're like, you just can't wait for them to be done because, honestly, yeah, I don't know. They're all my cringy or something, but yeah, I don't know.
And when you look across, say, the European landscape, is there anyone at flyweight that you're eyeing up for, like, say, your next couple of fights where I want to fight him, or is there anyone that catches your eye on the European scene?
No, not really, to be honest. Just obviously everything's geared towards getting to the top level, you know. So yeah, I'm just happy to get fights, to be honest, especially after all this going on, you know. I'm just happy to get fights. So anybody, to be honest.
And I want to switch tacks now and talk about your good friend and teammate Leah McCourt. You know, talk to me about your relationship with Leah. You must have a lot of pride in seeing how well she's doing and how you know, she's at the forefront essentially of Bellator MMA at the moment.
Yeah, Leah's, you know, another, you know, one thing that, like, about Leah that I love and respect is, like, because she's a grafter, you know. That's one thing about Leah that you can always bank on. She's always in the gym working hard, you know, and she's a role model, you know, for all the women out there because you know, she's a single mother and look what she's doing for the sport, you know.
100%. She's a trailblazer for Irish MMA, and you know, massive fight coming up against Sinéad Kavanagh. Are you excited for that fight?
I am, yeah, but do you know what? If I'm gonna be honest, and I was even saying to Leah, I'd rather like I would have rather not see that fight happen. Probably, yeah, if it was like for a world title or something to that effect. But for the most part, I just don't like Irish fighting Irish. If it's avoidable, because I got on good with Sinead as well. When I say, obviously it's like my sister. I've been with training and when she's down in Dublin, she stays in my house and stuff. She's one of my girlfriend's best friends. That's how I actually met my girlfriend. But yeah, it's a fight that I'd rather not. I get it has to happen, but I would have liked to see it more when either like one of them had won a world title or something.
And
I feel
maybe
like there's other fights that make it. That wasn't an absolutely necessary fight. It was gonna probably have to happen sooner or later, but not yet. I didn't think. But
yeah,
and it's bittersweet because it's a great fight to see. But then I know the two girls and the two great girls as well. So
yeah, it's one of those ones where from my perspective, it's a matchup it's a class matchup, but you don't want to see an Irish sports person lose. So, if you were to give a prediction or a preview, maybe if you don't want to give a prediction on that fight, how do you see that fight playing out?
just a great, at the end of the day, the real winners are the fans. That's all I'll say on it, and it will be. It's a great fight. The two great women, and yeah, the fans have really won in the fight. They're the biggest winners. But like I say, yeah, a fight that I'd rather not see happen yet. But it is what it is.
There's another fight on the domestic scene, domestic clash between another two flyweights that I am very much looking forward to, and that's Ger Harris versus Kieran Mulholland, the cage conflict. You're obviously, you've known Ger a long, long time. I saw on your Instagram, there's a photo you put up a while back, and I'd say Ger looked about 8 years old in it.
Yeah,
Give
yeah,
us
yeah.
some insight into Ger and like your relationship with him.
And Jer's like my little brother, I love Jer the bits, and another grafter. And really, people have no idea when it comes to Jer. You see glimpses and stuff, but when you know how good Jer is and everything else, I think people are in for a shock when they see, and a little bit like myself, I feel like I haven't showed what so much what I can offer, but people will say, with the both of us, and I feel like the both of us will be at the top soon.
Is this a coming out party for Ger? This is a massive fight for a title against Kieran Mulholland, who obviously had a rough start to his pro career, but the last year he's been submitting lads to beat the band. So, a very tough fight on paper for Ger in his pro debut. Obviously a junior world champion at the IMAS, but is this his coming out party?
Yeah, I think so, and you couldn't count Kieran now. He's from a real good stable up in FAI. I'd be good friends with a lot of the lads up there. Obviously Jer's family, so a little bit different, but it's people are gonna say, but you need, we've been training hard, and it'll be switched on when the time's right, because you don't want to be switched off on a guy, sleeping on a guy like Kieran, because like I said, like Liam and Pat, I'm sure they have a good game plan in store, and we're gonna have a good game plan in store. So yeah, I just feel like everything's all right until you're in there with you. I feel like you can watch him from the outside, but when you're in there and you're getting hit by him, it's a different feeling.
I'm going to stay on the Irish MMA train here and continue getting the inside track. So, a guy I'm really, really excited about is Max Lally. He obviously, unfortunately, got injured there at the IMF Worlds, but give us the inside scoop on Max. Just how special a talent is he? Obviously, he's very young still and young in his career, but how special a talent is Max Lally?
Honestly, it does your head in when you go with him, because when he gets a hold of you, it feels like your head's like a pimple and it's just gonna burst in two. Honestly, Max is frightening, he's serious chokes, and you know what, he's open minded for his age, he's obviously he's that kid, he's great dad and ma, you know, Yvonne and John, you know, and I feel like they keep him on track a good bit, but he's really open to learn. He trained us down in Dublin Combat Academy with Colin Manton and Craig Hogley, you know, so yeah, he's open to learn. I think he was telling me that he was over in Crumlin doing bits over there, so yeah, he's going here, there, and everywhere for the hard rounds, and he's always open to learn. So, and he's bleeding. He's only had getting pubes last week. He's only a young fella, like, you know what I mean? So, so he's a long road ahead of him, like. So, and it's scary. It's scary that he is so young as well, you know.
Absolutely. And do you think that is the way forward? You know, you mentioned there yourself training down at Dublin Combat Academy, you know, cross training between gyms. I feel like there was a narrative previously in Irish MMA where you had to just stick with your gym and you have to be loyal to your gym. And to be honest, I don't think it's about loyalty. I think it's just about getting the best work wherever you need to get it. Is that a better approach in your opinion?
Yeah, I personally feel like, because at the end of the day, I go down to my boxing gym and I spar boxers. You're not gonna spar better. Let's be honest. You're not gonna spar better people in MMA straight boxing than boxers. Much like when I go down to Dublin Combat Academy, I'm not gonna spar people in MMA with better toy boxing than straight toy boxers. Now, obviously, it's up to you to make the adjustments. You know, sometimes even in both like boxing and the toy gym, they'll struggle sometimes with me because it's like a little bit, I obviously have to tweak my style and it's a little bit different than what they're used to, you know, with the even a little bit of a different stance. Yeah, more of a mover, I feel, in MMA as opposed to like toy boxing where it's a little bit more direct and straight on, you know. But yeah, I feel like, and it doesn't really go down to anything with loyalty or any of that shit. Like, at the end of the day, make no mistake, I don't make any mistake. Like, I'm doing MMA. I'm not trying to be a world champion toy boxer. I'm not trying to be a world champion boxer or wrestler or whatever. Because I'd be like going down wrestling with Sergey in SBG Nace and stuff, you know. But I'm not trying to do any of that. Anything I did was to benefit purely for MMA. And Owen obviously owns me head coach when it comes to MMA, you know. But I feel like you can pick up good techniques, and you know, it's just the repetition. I feel like in gyms like that, like, you know, you go, imagine you go to, I don't know, Sergey's gym, you're doing 100 straight double legs, 100 straight single legs. You go down to me boxing gym, like all you're doing for 3 hours is a jab. You go down to the toy gym, it's knee, right kick, you know, stuff like that. It's like the same stuff every day, and it's a bit of a melt, to be honest, you know. But you know, I feel like the basics done well and done sharp that's world champion, you know.
So that repetition, 10,000 hours type stuff.
Yeah, well, it's like Bruce Lee and that the 10,000 different kicks thing is all shit. Like, it's the one kick 10,000 times, and it's true. You know, we'll throw a million jabs, a million right hands. You know, you'll see some fancy stuff and all, but the fancy stuff doesn't get you to the dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So after Sunday, February 20th, assuming we get a win, bit of activity, hopefully, for the next few years. What's
100%.
What's the goal? You know, how do you see your next few years playing out?
Honestly, the goal is to be the UFC world champion. For me, it's too tough of a life to not want anything but that. See, people, yeah, I just do this for fun, or we'll see where it takes me. Jesus, I don't know what's wrong with them. There's something wrong with them people, I feel like. It's like, how are you going to go train 3 times a day or twice a day, whatever you may train, and put in blood, sweat, and tears and spend time away from your family, all for a hobby? Like, that is mind-boggling for me, you know. If I thought for 1 second that I wasn't capable of being a world champion and getting to the highest level of the pinnacle of this sport, I wouldn't. Honestly, I just wouldn't do it. I just stop now and just move on to something else. It just made, like, obviously I've just a different mindset because that was always my mindset, you know. But yeah, just that doesn't make sense for me. So
How do you get to the UFC? Obviously, historically the proven path has been through Cage Warriors. You fought on Bellator, and there's a lot of Irish fighters on Bellator, but that seems like a different path. So when I hear you saying I
Yeah,
want to be UFC world champion, how do you get to the UFC? Obviously by winning.
yeah, just winning. I don't really know. I just think just win and be exciting down it, and you know, like I say, I feel like I'm already on the UFC's radar. They already know who I am. A good few clean wins, and they see how we speak, and everything else, and how we can execute things. And I think I'll be in there, no problem.
Would you be looking at, say, a Cage Warriors where there is a title that you could then, go and get that and then have that accolade to hold up and say, right, here I am?
Yeah, definitely, it's definitely an option. I don't feel like it's the only option the way some people think, but it's definitely an option. It's like it is a proven way, that to the UFC. But I feel sometimes, like in Europe, people feel like it's a misconception that that's the only way. You know, I just feel like I have a good fight style. Like I said, go in and get a few clean executions, and that's it.
Do you think it's better these days in that there are those options? Being fully transparent, Cage Warriors, it's not going to be the biggest payday anyone's ever going to get, but it has been a proven path to the UFC. But now there are other options. There's UAE Warriors, there's Brave, there's a lot of other shows out there. Aries is just signed for UFC Fight Pass. Is there a better landscape now for a fighter looking to get to the UFC?
I think so. I just think it's more because there's actually a more of an eye on Europe. They know a lot. They know we're all legit over here now. I don't really feel like the respect was there a couple of years ago for the Europeans, and now we've had some good champions, and they're like, oh shit, the boys over there aren't messing about. You used to hear like the Americans and the Brazilians and Canadians and whatever else. It wasn't really about Europe a couple of years ago. Now I think there's a shining light on the Europeans, so it's a little bit different in that way. I think I feel like maybe a couple of years ago, Cage Warriors was the only light in Europe. But I feel like it's a bit different now. I feel like the eyes are on Europe and not just about Cage Warriors now.
So the return of Chaos Curtis Sunday the 20th of February against Tom Creasy. What are we expected to see?
A good fight, honestly. It's been a while since I'm in there, and like I've been saying, people like the fans are gonna be excited about to see me return. At the end of the day, everybody's excited to see me return, and I won't disappoint like I never do.
What's the prediction for the fight?
It's gonna be, I don't really know. I've been saying it going a couple of ways in my head. I never really like to give predictions, but we'll see what happens. I'm expecting good things out of him, and I'm sure, like I say, I'm sure he's going to be ready and he's coming for us. So yeah, we'll see.
Ryan, I really appreciate the time. We'll end on this. What are you looking forward to most about getting back in there finally?
Just the buzz of it all. Like I feel like it's I'm never really somebody who gets caught up. You know, I'm never really somebody gets caught up in the emotions of it all. Even backstage, I don't really get so nervous. It's more like obviously when you have to run or come and they're like, all right, you're up next. I get the butterflies and stuff. But yeah, just the buzz of it all, really. There's nothing quite like that. That buzz, and it's an undescribable feeling. Many people, 99% of the world don't know what it feels like. And I feel like that's why a lot of fighters go off the head, I suppose, after it's all said and done, because they might be looking for that outlet somewhere else, whether it be drink or drugs or something like that, because the buzz of it all and the feeling, it's great. It really is. Even though it's a mad owl feeling as well at the same time, because it's like such high stakes on the line. You're not going in to play bingo. So it's tough, but it's a great feeling all the same.
That'll be some game of bingo. Ryan, I really appreciate the time today. Next one, I'll get a kimono. I'll have to get my own custom kimono, and I'll match it you. But I appreciate the time. Ryan, Chaos Curtis fighting Tom Creasy Sunday 20th of February on Evolution of Combat 8. I'm sure it'll be available on pay-per-view. We can push that out closer to the time. But for now, appreciate the time, and thanks everyone for watching.